ॐ श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहैः। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। In Sanatana Dharma, as you know, we have this multi-layered system of scriptures. At the top, we have the source of all knowledge, and which is called as Vedas or Shruti or Nigama or Agama. All these are the words. They are known as the breath of Ishvara. That is, Ishvara himself manifested in the minds of the Rishi Munis in the depths of their meditations and revealed the knowledge. That is why we say the Vedas are revealed knowledge or Apaurusheya Pramana, not born of a human intellect. That is the glory of the Shruti. But because, the Shrutis, Vakyam are all in Sanskritam, so it is not easily accessible. We need adequate knowledge of Sanskritam, we need a competent guru. Then, most important, we need the qualifications, sadhana, chatushtayam, to be able to access and unlock the Veda Shastras. So then we have the second tier, the second layer, and so on. Those are the secondary scriptures in the form of itihasas, puranas, prakarana granthas, stotrams. They are more user friendly. And itihasas, we know the two classic itihasas of Bharat, Ramayana and Mahabharatam, no? And then the Puranas, 18 Puranas attributed to Vyasacharya, Ramayana to Valmiki. So all these secondary scriptures are born of the human intellect, again from the great rishis and munis. Now, where does the Bhagavad Gita fit in all of this? It is a shining jewel in the Itihasa Mahabharatam. In fact, we have seen Mahabharatam has 5 shining jewels. Bhagavad Gita is one, then Viduraniti, Vishnu Sahasranamam, Sanat, Sujatiya, and Yaksha Prashna. Beautiful, texts which we study also from the Mahabharatam. And Mahabharatam is also known as a Panchama Veda. Panchama Veda it has got the status of Veda because what is not in the Mahabharatam, we will not find it anywhere else. That is the glory. So Bhagavad Gita is a shining jewel in this Itihasa, and it is also called Gitopanishad and Sarva Veda Sangraha Sara. It is the compacted essence of the entire Vedas. And so that is the glory of Bhagavad Gita. Now, the word Gita, sometimes people understand it as song, but Gita does not mean song. The word for song in Sanskritam is Gitam and Apunsakalinga Shabda. But Gita is Strilinga Shabda. Why? Because Gita is Shrutiyon ki Rani. Gita follows the Shruti very closely, and Shruti being feminine, Gita is also a feminine Shabda. So what does this mean? Bhagavad Gita, there are again 2 interpretations. One is Bhagavataha Gita. That is the Upadesha teachings given by Sri Krishna. The other one is the Gita, which is the teachings in which Bhagavan is the topic. That is the central topic. It is all about Ishvaraha. That is the second meaning of Bhagavad Gita. Hmm? Now we know there are so many Gitas. At least 30 Gitas will be there. Yeah. Rama Gita, Anu Gita, Kapila Gita, Shruti Gita, Vyadha Gita, so many of them. Hamsa Gita, Dattatreya Gita, Uddhava Gita, some of which we have done, and some are yet. All of these Gitas are what are Upadesha. And most of them will be in the form of a Samvada, Guru Shishya Samvada, and inquiring into the Tattvam, Parama Tattva. Now, this Anu Gita is special for us because that is also in the Mahabharatam. So the story is, when Arjuna is empowered through the 18 chapters of the Gita, and what does he say finally? Nashtaha mohaha smritihi labdha tvat prasadat mayachita sthitosmi gata sandehaha karishye pachanam tava. So he goes ahead empowered and wins the war for the Pandavas, and then finally they regain the kingdom, and Yudhishthira is crowned again king. No, Rajabhishekam, all that is done. And then when they're casually sitting, the Pandavas with Krishna, then Arjuna says, Krishna, I have a hazy memory of, even before the battle begun. So they were so profound, but I can't recollect most of it. Can you please repeat? So Krishna says that was a very special divine moment, very intense moment before the war was going to begin. You had surrendered, Shishyasteham Shadhimam Tvam Prapannam, and I began the teachings, but we are not in such an intense situation anymore. So I cannot give you the teachings, but I will give you a gist, some highlights of what, was told on the Kurukshetra battlefield. And the content of that, those teachings is called Anu Gita. Anu means after. So after the war, the Gita that took place is called Anu Gita. And so now what is so special about the Gita? What is the unique message and how is it relevant to the whole world? The message is, it is a Moksha Shastra. Atma Vidya is the main message. And what does Krishna say? The teachings are Aham Asmi Sada Bhami Kadachit Na Apriyaha. Aham Asmi is I am Satvastu. I am the non-negatable truth in all the three periods of time. Then Sada Bhami, I am a conscious sentient being. Chit Swarupaha, Jnana Swarupaha. Kadachit Na Apriyaha. I am the Priyatamaha Atma, the dearest one, dear to me. Atmanastu Kamaya Sarvam Priyam Bhavati. We saw in Panchadashi recently. So, this is the unique Upadesha of the Gita. So, Bhagavan says that, I am you, really, and you are a part of me. So, where is the question of grief? Panditaha na anushocanti. Because there is only the one shining Swayam Prabha, self-effulgent reality, the Tattva. So the Upadesha of Sri Krishna begins with Panditaha na anushocanti, wise do not grieve. Then the last Upadesha, Ma Shuchaha. So don't worry, Krishna says, take refuge in me. Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. And in between also Krishna is constantly saying, Mama Bhaktaha na shochati na kankshati. My devotee will never perish, will never have grief. So that is why Gita is a Shoka Moha Nivritti Grantha. Now, will the Bhagavad Gita study remove or solve all our problems? It will not solve, but it will dissolve. Yeah. So dissolve means that it will shift the focus. It will bring about a paradigm shift, a cognitive shift in the mind. No? So what is a paradigm? This word, the way I see the world, the way I see myself, the world, the Jiva, Jagat and Ishvara, how do I see it? That is a paradigm. But my perception can change. That is called a paradigm shift. If I wear glasses with the wrong prescription, so how will my perception be? Hazy, cloudy, unclear, So the Gita teaching is cleansing the lens like mind and bringing about this paradigm shift. Why did I mistake the snake for the rope in that semi dark alley? You know, because of ignorance, ignorant of the rope. So until I see the rope as the rope, the snake cannot be dismissed. So Krishna says that here also in life, samsara, the suffering is snake-like, yeah, superimposed upon Atma Tattvam. So until I see clearly and discover the Atma Tattvam, I will not be able to dismiss the snake-like samsara. So that is the teaching of the Gita and how it brings about this paradigm shift through initially the Vedic way of life. We saw Karma Yoga, what a master stroke it is, and how it brings about that inner peace, the leisure, and the healthy detachment. Then values and attitudes were talked about in the Gita. Finally, for what purpose? To have a Samskrita Manas in order to discover I am the fulfilled Yukta Purushaha. Yukta Purushaha. And this is then the unique message of the Gita. Now, today we are going to see Shankaracharya's version of the Phalashruti. Yeah? Phalashruti, which is also called the Gita Mahatmyam. Now, before starting that, Adi Shankaracharya, as you know, has written the Bhashya on the Bhagavad Gita, on 10 principal Upanishads, on the Brahma Sutras by Vedavyasa. Not only Adi Shankaracharya, but many great writers, Ramanujacharya, and there are several Gitas. The freedom fighters, Bala Gangadhara Tilak, when he was imprisoned in Burma, Mandalay, the prison in Burma, they did not sit and lament, oh, why me, what has happened. They were doing Atma Chintanam and, whatever was provided to them stationery, they were writing their thoughts on the Gita. So when that Bala Gangadhara Tilak was actually released after 6 years, he was not given those notes. They refused the government. They said this is against our rules. Then he returned to India, and everybody felt very sad that Gita is called Gita Rahasya, the name of the Gita by Gangadhara Tilak. Then he said, oh, they can destroy this Anatma paper, but they cannot destroy the Buddhi. I will reproduce it. So again, Bal Gangadhar Tilak reproduced all the thoughts, and then today it is known as Gita Rahasya. So there are many Gitas like Vinoba Bhave and Shivananda Gita, Jnaneshwari Gita, so famous in Maharashtra. I have yet to read that, Jnaneshwari Gita. So like that, they all have, they all have expressed their views on it. Laid more stress on Karma Yoga than Jnanam. But Adi Shankaracharya, describes in the Gita Bhashyam, in the introduction, he says, why am I writing the commentary on the Gita? Because there is confusion. The people are not aware of the true purpose of life. What are they seeking and what are they doing? Is there a connection? So they are like the musk deer. There is a mythological musk deer which has perfume in its navel, and it can smell the perfume which is already there. So Adi Shankaracharya is explaining how we must have a yoga buddhi first, karma yoga buddhi first, and then sankhya buddhi, the buddhi to discover the knowledge of the whole. That is how the seeker is the sought. So this is the introductory bhashyam which Shankaracharya writes and describes how the fundamental problem in life is ajnanam. Yeah, not knowing what I'm seeking. Seeking is not a problem. Desiring is also not a problem. But we should have a proper aim. The desire. But seeking aimlessly, desiring aimlessly is due to ajnanam. And so Adi Shankaracharya explains and begins the Bhashyam with the verse 11 of chapter. So today we will see these verses of the Gita Mahatmyam one by one. You can repeat after me. Gita Shastramidam Punyam Yah Pathet Prayatah Puman Vishnoh Padamavapnoti Bhayashokadivarjitah.
Gita Shastramidam Punyam Yapate Prayatah Puman Vishnu Paramavapnoti Ayashokagrivarjitah.
Yeah. So the first shloka by Adi Shankaracharya is Gita Shastram Idam Punyam Yaha Pathet Prayatah Puman Vishnoho Padam. It can be Padam or Padma Avapnoti Bhaya Shokadi Varjitaha. So Shankaracharya says this Gita Shastram is a Punyak Shastram. Why? Because it is a Moksha Shastram. Now, Punyam we translate as favorable situations in life. So one kind of Punyam will bring me happy situations in life. The family is well settled, children are studying well, they are married, and there is no lack of wealth. Everything is smooth and harmonious. This is one kind of Punyam. But another kind of Punyam is that which brings us to the Shastra. So Puja Swamiji will say, whenever we have the inclination to study Gita and Upanishads, we are encashing a special Punya check. That is called Nishreyasa Punyam. Because it will take us to the freedom from both Papa and Punyam one day. Yeah? Sarvadharman Parityajya. Whereas the Abhyudaya Punyam is the Punyam which will bring prosperity, material prosperity and well-being, good health and balance in life. All of it is definitely needed. But for the serious student of Gita, like Nachiketa, wants to go beyond both Papa and Punyam and become free from the cycle of bondage of karma. So that is why Idam Gita Shastram is called Punyam. It is an auspicious study. Then Yaha Puman, the one who studies it, Pathet, what will happen to this student? Vishnoho Paramam Padam Avapnoti, will gain the Vishnu Loka. Now, Prayataha means the one who does Prayatnam, who puts the consistent, systematic effort. Shraddhavan Labate Jnanam. So, Yaha Puman Prayataha Pathet, what will happen to that person? Will gain the Vishnu Loka. And Adi Shankaracharya will, say many times that Paramapadam, Vishnu Loka, is not again a Loka conditioned in time and space, but it is Vyapnoti Sarvamiti Vishnu. That is gaining the knowledge of the all-pervading Vishnu Tattvam, the principle, in other words, Moksha Prapti. Vishnoho Paramam Padam Avapnoti. Then what else will happen to the serious student of Gita? Bhaya Shoka Adi Varjitaha. Will be free from bhayam, fear, from shoka, sorrow, and adi padartha, etc. etc. We can include raga, dvesha, stress, depression, anxiety, all these things. No? So all because of ajnanam. So initially, how this Gita Shastram shows us how to navigate through life intelligently by the Karma Yoga principles, Ishwararpanam and Prasada Buddhi. And Krishna has said, Swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Even little bit, baby steps we take in life. As per the Gita, we are freed from the fear of death, fear of samsara, and then we progress more and more towards the goal, which is described here as Vishnoho Paramam Padam. Second shloka. गीताध्ययनशीलस्य प्राणायामपरस्य च नैव सन्ति हि पापानि पूर्वजन्म कृतानि च ताध्ययनशीलस्य
तस्य च नैव सन्ति हि पापानि पूर्वजन्मकृतानि च.
Yeah. So Gita Dhyayana Shilasya, the one who is adept, competent in the Gita Adhyayanam, study of the Gita. Which Gita? Bhagavad Gita in the current context. No? And Pranayama Parasyacha, the one who is also devoted to these special disciplines like japa, fasting, pranayama. Na eva santihi papani purva janma kritani cha. So the papa of all the collected, purva janma, fruits of all the actions done in countless past births will not be there. So Chitragupta will be very happy. The divine accountant, one more person is free. That is the fruit promised by the Gita. So, Gita Adhyayana Shilasya. So, the one who is a serious student of Gita. Remember in the chapter 18, in the concluding shlokas, what did we see? Krishna has praised two kinds of students. One is serious student who gains moksha. And Krishna has said that Tena aham ishtaha. The one who studies the Gita is really doing the highest puja to me. So, highest puja to me, how? Because he or she is offering the ajnanam, ignorance, into the fire of knowledge and gaining the knowledge of my param mam avyayam svabhavaha. So, the one who begins, no doubt, with devotion to a certain vigraha, ishtadevata, kuladevata, gramadevata, then wants to go beyond the Saguna Brahma versions and know about that Avyayam, Param, Para, Nirguna nature is my Parama Bhaktaha. That is mentioned here, Gita Dhyana Shilasya. Then at the same time, such a one is also doing all these austerities, tapas in the form of pranayama. We all know pranayama is an exercise which purifies the Sukshma Shariram wonderfully because the knowledge has to take place in the mind. So, how are we going to purify the mind? One excellent practice is by catching hold of the breath and to master it. No? Pranayama, ayama, pranasya ayama, paraha. Then, such a one, na eva santihi papani purva janma kritani cha. So, we know that, our karmic account is there. Sanchita account is all the past karmas. So, they all get burnt by the fire of knowledge. Bhasmasat kurute yatha jnanagnihi. Then, what about future karma? Future karma are also not going to be there for one who is freed from the karta bhokta notion. What about the present karma which has begun at birth, prarabdha karma? It is as though burnt. As though burnt is, it will continue, but it will not affect the one who has worn this armor, jnana kavacham. Now, Gita gives us that insulation of protection, and that space, inner space, to be free from the onslaught. When unfavorable prarabdha happen, then like that merchant, instead of saying, what? I can say, so what? Yeah, yadeva bhavati tadeva mangalaya. So even this has a karanam, and who knows, it will lead me to something better in future. So there is the prasada buddhi. So naiva santihi papani purva janma kritani cha. गीताध्ययनशीलस्य प्राणायामपरस्य च नैव सन्ति हि पापानि पूर्वजन्मकृतानि च. The third one, मलनिर्मोचनं पुंसां जलस्नानं दिने दिने सकृद्गीताम्भसि स्नानं संसारमलनाशनम्.
मलनिर्मोचनं पुंसां
जलस्नानं दिने दिने.
सर्वगीतां वदति स्नानं संसारमलनाशनम्.
Malam. Malam is the dirt. Mala nirmochanam pumsam jala snanam dine dine. Sakrit. Sakrit means even just once. Gita ambhasi snanam samsara mala nashanam. Now we all take bath every day, you know, sometimes more than once or maybe even thrice in summer to wash out the malam of the body. The physical stula shariram malam is removed. But what about the malam in the sukshma shariram? The raga dveshas, kama krodhadi, malam. How can we remove it? We can remove it by, let's say, japam, or I sit down and I do dhyanam or some kind of parayanam or I do seva, yajnam, danam, tapas. Krishna has said, pavanani manishina. They also cleanse my mind, no? But here Krishna is saying, what is the ultimate purifier? See, when I do japam and seva and yajna and prayer and meditation, again I have to repeat the next day or in a few days. The malam will not go away. But what will eradicate this malam of raga, dvesha, kama, krodha permanently? That is the Gita Adhyayanam. That is here, Krishna says, Sakrit. Even once, if one has dipped into the, Gitambhasi, in the waters of the Gita Ganga, that will be samsara mala nashanam, will remove the samsara mala. Shankaracharya has expressed the same thing, no? Bhagavad Gita Kinchidadhita Ganga Jalalava Pita Sakradapi Yena Murari Samarcha Kriyate Tasya Yamena Na Charcha Bhaja Govindam Bhaja Govindam Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate. So Adi Shankaracharya says the one who has even studied the Gita kinchit, little bit, or drunk a sip of Ganga Jalam, or worshipped the lotus feet of Krishna once, will have no fear of Yama. And Yama cannot approach. In the sense, one is freed from the fear of samsara. How? Ajo nitya shashvatoyam puranaha na hanyate hanyamane sharire. Knowing, gaining the knowledge of Krishna Tattvam as Ajaha, Amrityuhu, Avyayam, no? Amalam Atma. So, Puja Swamiji will say, Atma is like Teflon, nothing will stick to it. So, no Malam, it is free from Papa and Punya. Nitya Shuddhaha, Nitya Muktaha, Nitya Buddhaha, Atma. Malanirmochanam pumsam jalasnanam dine dine sakrit geetam bhasi snanam samsara malanashanam. Actually, many people thirst for a dip in the Ganga, no? So Ganga is not an ordinary river. We all may have experienced the special benefits. How it is so healing, it is so comforting. So we have this beautiful ashram, Arsha Vidya Gurukulam, on the banks of the Ganga. So some people say just the sight of the Ganga purifies or a dip purifies. But here we're talking about the Gita Ganga. The Gita Ganga, when we dip into it by the study and by Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasnam, that will remove the samsara mala. Next shloka is the fourth one. No? गीता सुगीता कर्तव्या किमन्यै शास्त्रविस्तरैः या स्वयं पद्मनाभस्य मुखपद्माद्विनिसृता
गीता
सुगीता कर्तव्या
किमन्यै शास्त्रविस्तरैः या स्वयं पद्मनाभस्य मुखपद्माद्विनिसृता.
This is a very famous, important verse, oft quoted. Gita Sugita Kartavya. Kim Anyehi Shastra Vistaraihi? Ya Swayam Padmanabhasya Mukha Padma Dvinisrita. Vinisrita means flowing. So this Gita, which is flowing from the Padmanabha's Mukham, from the the mouth of Sri Krishna, himself, Ya Swayam Padmanabhasya Mukha Padmat Vinisrita, this Ganga, Gita Ganga, is what must be Sugita. Gita, Sugita, Sugita means it must be studied and studied well. And this is a Kartavya. Kartavya means, look at the Tavya Pratyaya here. Tavya Pratyaya means mandated. Yeah, it should be done. Kartavya, we all know, duty. Yeah. So minimum, if we think we are Hindus, then we have to have studied the Bhagavad Gita. Yes, correct. So Bhagavad Gita is really a universal scripture, has universal appeal. We know that. And our honorable Prime Minister, he will take a Gita book on his travels abroad, and he says, "This is my gift to all the people that I meet." And even if they don't read, just the book presence will bless them. So that is the glory of the Gita, and it must be studied well. So, what is the use of other Shastras? We have seen, because Gita is Sarva Veda Sara Sangraha. It is the compacted essence of everything. If we don't have time, if we do not understand others, if you find Upanishads are all too difficult, minimum Gita you read, we will get the essence, way of life, and vision of or the goal. And it is that which has manifested from Sri Krishna himself. In fact, the Vedas, there's a mandate, Swadhyayapna pramaditavyam. Let there may not be pramada with respect to our Shastras. So everyone, whatever culture we are born in, we must be informed of our scriptures. And so Swadhyaya, daily devoted listening and study of the Shastras is a kartavya. Then having said that, Gita, Shankaracharya says, is Durvigneya. Durvigneya means it is not going to be easy also. Although it is easier than the Shruti Mata Upanishads. No? Why? Because we have we not seen paradoxical verses in the Gita like Maya tatamidam sarvam jagadavyakta murtina matsthani sarva bhutani nachaham teshvavasthitaha. Krishna says in one of the chapters that I pervade the whole creation. Creation is in me, but I am not in the creation. Satyam Mithya was, we spent a lot of time on that. Then karmanya karmaya pashet akarmani cha karmayaha, seeing inaction in action and action in inaction. Then last chapter 18, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. When Krishna says, I will release you from all the karmas, come to me. So all this requires, the bhashyam or a teacher who can explain. And when we're guided by the Guru Parampara, we get the proper meaning. So then, when we are endowed with Shraddha, we can gain the complete vision without distortions, without vagueness and without doubt. And such a Gita which is flowing from the Mahavishnu, as Sri Krishna, to Arjuna, that is the glory of the Gita. Then number 5, we'll chant it one more time. Gita Sugita Kartavya Kimanye Shastra Vistaraihi Ya Swayam Padmanabhasya Mukha Padmad Vinisrita भारतामृत सर्वस्वं विष्णो वक्त्राद्विनिसृतं गीता गंगोदकं पीत्वा पुनर्जन्म न विद्यते भारतामृत सर्वस्वं
विष्णोर्वक्त्राद्विनिसृतं गीता गङ्गोदकं पीत्वा पुनर्जन्म न विद्यते.
Yeah. So where is the Gita to be found? Bharata. So Bharata is short for Mahabharatam Itihasa. So Gita is the Amritam, shining jewel of this Mahabharatam epic Itihasa, and Vishnu Vaktrad Vinisitam, flowing from the Vaktram, the mouth, or the words of Mahavishnu as Sri Krishna Avatara. And Gita Ganga Udakam Pitva, the one who has drunk, taken the waters of this Gita Ganga or studied it, Punarjanma na vidyate. That is, there is no return to samsara. Yad gatva na nivartante. So, no return to samsara means one is free from the samsara chakra, avidya, kama, karma, karma, phalam, janma. Because one has addressed the fundamental cause. Remember, Arjuna wanted to solve his problem of shoka and moha not superficially, like escaping, but fundamentally. He keeps sitting down and says, Yat Shreya Syat Nishchitam Bruhi Tatme Bruhi. Krishna, you tell me that which is the ultimate good. Give me Shreyas. And so he is asking for the highest knowledge. So, this Bhagavad Gita is one of the shining jewels in the Mahabharatam, and which is the book of Dharma. And here, the Gita teachings, one who has assimilated, internalized the Gita teachings, Punarjanma na vidyate. So, we have seen a similar Falashruti in the Mundaka Upanishad also, no? Bhidyate hridaya grantihi kshiyante sarva samshayaha chityante sarva karmani tasmin drishte paravare. That is, when the knowledge of that param jnanam is gained, then all the doubts are cut, knots of ignorance and all the karmas are burnt for that person. And that is the glory of the Gita Moksha Shastram. भारतामृतसर्वस्वं विष्णो वक्त्राद्विनिसृतं गीता गङ्गोदकं पीत्वा पुनर्जन्म न विद्यते. The next one is also very popular. सर्वोपनिषदो गावः दोग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्सः सुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत्. उपनिषदो गावः दुग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्सः सुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत्. सर्व उपनिषदः गावः दोग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थः वत्सः सुधीः भोक्ताः, all nominative. Dugdham Gita Amritam Mahat. Very beautiful analogy here that if all the Upanishads, Sarva Upanishads are Gavaha, cows, then who is the one to milk them? Krishna. Krishna is the Gopala Nandanaha, the Gopa. Then the cow yields milk for whom? Primarily for the calf. You know, the small putti calf will be there, and out of Vatsalyam, the mother cow will yield the milk. So here, Partha, that is Arjuna, is likened to the calf. And Krishna is the milk person, no? The Gopa. Then who else is going to enjoy this Gitamritam? Sudhihis. Sudhihi means? Yeah. Whose ghee, that is intellect or minds, are pure. Mumukshus, in other words. No? Sudhihi bhokta. Sudhihis are the bhoktas who are going to enjoy the Gitamritam. Dugdham Gitamritam Mahat. So, just as a calf is nimittam for, receiving the milk, so too Arjuna is nimittam. No, nimittam for receiving the Gitamritam. And over Arjuna's shoulders, we are all Sudhihis, we are all Bhoktas, enjoying the Gitamritam. Sarvopanishado Gavaha Dogdha Gopalanandanaha Partho Vatsas Sudhir Bhokta Dugdham Gitamritam Mahat. Then the last one, it's in a different meter, the longer meter. Ekam Shastram Devaki Putra Gitam Eko Devo Devaki Putra Eva Eko Mantrastasya Namani Yani Karmapyekam Tasya Devasya Seva. Putra Gitam Eko Devo Devaki Putra Eva एको मन्त्रस्तस्य नामानि यानि कर्माप्येकं तस्य देवस्य सेवा. So here Acharya says ekam shastram devaki putra geetam एकः देवः देवकी पुत्र एव एकः मन्त्रः तस्य नामानि यानि कर्म अपि एकं तस्य देवस्य सेवा. So here Acharya says that there is only one shastram, ekam shastram, and that is Devaki Putra Geetam. That is the Samvada, Krishna Arjuna Samvada. That is the only Shastra. Then Ekaha Deva, there is only one divinity, and that is also Devaki Putraha, Krishna. Then Ekaha Mantraha, only one mantra. What is the mantra? The namas of the Lord, of Bhagavan. Tasya namani yani. Then what is the one action we should be engaged in? Karma api ekam. That devasya seva. No? Now again, this shloka can also be misinterpreted, can be confusing at the first sight. If you take the vachyartha is a literal meaning, then it sounds like Krishna says, don't worship anyone else. Come to me only, So I am your savior, come to me, do seva to me, do alankara to me, chant my names. Is this the meaning? Will this be the meaning given by Advaita Guru Adi Shankaracharya? There are some organizations which have, Krishna, they're very fixated on Krishna. But being in Advaitam, Adi Shankaracharya will never confine the worship to one, kind of manifestation. Vedas themselves say what? Ekam Sat Vipraha Bahuda Vadanti. Satyam is one, but it is approached by many versions. They are called alambanams. And that is why Nirguna Param Brahma Ekaha. But Saguna versions are Anekaha. So we have the freedom of choice to worship the one through Devi, Subramanya, Ganesha, Rama, Shiva, Krishna, any times. That is why it's a whole path laid out, no? Ekarupa Bhakti to Anekarupa Bhakti. I can simply sit by the Ganga and connect with the Supreme, or sit at Arunachala, Tiruvannamalai, and just meditate on the ultimate, or upon space. So the choice is entirely up to the Bhakta. And so we also know Sarvadeva Namaskaraha Keshavam Pratigachati. All the namaskaras, the pujas, and the offerings is going ultimately to the one. And again, there Keshava is to be understood as the Parama Tattvam. Yeah. So the Gita Shastram is a universal scripture meant for, has a universal appeal to all cultures, regardless of religion, background, profession, age, gender. And because of this reason, Ekam Shastram and yeah. The Sarvadharman Parityaja Charma Shloka also we can connect to that meaning. Krishna says, come to me means what? Gain the knowledge of my Parama Avyayam Sarupaha, Parama Tattvam. And not this embodiment. So Krishna Avataram is also Namarupa. It's a very exalted Namarupa that has appeared in the Dwapara Yuga. But to go beyond even that is to understand the Nirguna Parama Tattvam. So that is the meaning here, that there is only one Devaha, one Shastram, one Nama. So whatever namas we chant Shiva Sahasranamam, Dakshina, Murti Sahasranamam. Same thing, we are worshipping the one divine supreme. And the seva of that Devata. Seva here means the worship. How am I doing puja? So it can be a formal puja, then it can be puja in the form of serving the whole, all the manifestations, or it can be simply Atma puja. So Krishna says, whoever studies the Gita, who does Atma Chintanam, who is burning the ignorance in the fire of knowledge is the highest puja. Yeah. So jnani tu atmaiva me matam. So that does not mean that other pujas are inferior. It is the path. We all grow. We all grow in devotion initially with Sakama Bhakti, and then slowly the Sakama Bhakti has to become pure and evolve into Nishkama Bhakti. And then that will make one a Jnani Bhaktaha. So let's chant this again. Ekam Shastram Devaki Putra Ekam. Eko Devo Devaki Putra Eva. Eko Mantrastasya
कर्णाप्येकं तस्य
Devasya Seva. So thus we see that now these are the 7 shlokas which are chanted before the study of the Gita or after the study of the Gita, and it is very auspicious, and it is the Mahatmyam and Phalashruti composed by Adi Shankaracharya, where he says Gita is to be studied and chanted, Parayanam has to be done and meditated upon regularly. So in the longer Mahatmyam version we saw from the Varaha Purana last week, what did we see there? We saw that if you are blessed to chant all 18 chapters, please go ahead. Wonderful. Otherwise 9, otherwise 6, 3 chapters, 1 chapter, 1 shloka, half a shloka. Even then there will be some punyam. Or at least you can keep the book at the altar and then put a mala and do arati to the book, like the Sikhs do that, no, to Guru Granthas, beautiful it is. And so like that, or if we cannot do even that, then just say Gita. Go on chanting Gita, 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 Gita. So just like that Ratnakara, he could not say the word Rama, no? He said, no, no, okay, you say Mara. Mara, 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 Mara. Mara became Rama. So here Gita becomes Tagi, and Tagi means Tyagi, renunciation. So it will create a samskara in the mind that may I, follow the path, the Shreya Marga of renunciation. So then we also saw that such a home, the home where there are satsangas, Gita is chanted, studied, dwelt upon, it is blessed by the devatas in a subtle form, and where help will come very soon, where the mind will be peaceful, yeah, and it is a total blessing. In fact, it is said that home will be blessed with 4G. What are the 4Gs? Gita, Ganga, Guru, Govinda. And if you want to extend it to 5G, upgrade, you can add Gayatri Mantra. So, which means if we engage in all these 4 or 5Gs, then we are really blessed, and that mind is blessed, the home is blessed, and all who are connected will also be blessed. When we were children, I'm sure most of us in the age group of 70 or 80 today, we would recall our parents and grandparents studying Ramayana, Sundarakanda, So we would have wondered, why are they doing that? That sight is purifying because it has created a curiosity, a samskara in the mind. I used to ask my mother, why are you writing Rama, Rama, Rama again and again, same thing? She would say, this is my doctorate. This is my PhD. You will not understand now. So, in Rishikesh Shivananda Ashram, I have been to one room where people from all over the world send their Ramanama Koti Archana books there, and they're all wrapped very neatly in bundles, and whole room is filled only with those books, notebooks. And so you can do pradakshina there, and then you can feel the divine vibration. Very nice room it is there. So that is the glory of the Bhagavad Gita. And you see how the Bhagavad Gita empowers us with the twofold teachings. Yoga Shastra, that is, gives us the Buddhi Yoga, the Karma Buddhi Yoga, to intelligently go through choiceless situations in life, war-like situations in life, the turbulence, ups and downs, how like a lotus leaf, huh? Like a lotus leaf untouched by water. Hmm? And then, by the grace of Krishna, we are able to discover the ever happy, ever peaceful, ever secure me, despite the intense activity around me. Hmm? So it is said that Sri Krishna is like the Kalpavriksha. Kalpavriksha is the wish fulfilling tree. It is said that only Indra had that wish fulfilling tree in Svargaloka. Then we heard the story of Samudra Mathanam. This is one of the 14 jewels which came from that. So now we have it on earth, this Parijata or Kalpavriksha. But real meaning is wish fulfilling tree is that which will fulfill all our wishes. No? For whom? So Sri Krishna is likened to the Kalpavriksha, will grant, the fulfillment, the joy, and the peace of happiness to whom? To a prapannaha, the one who has surrendered. Hmm? Like this Arjuna, no? Arjuna who is surrendered. And what does surrender mean? Surrender means to understand that I am nimittam and Bhagavan is my refuge. So the one who is manmanaha, madbhaktaha, matyaji, no, matparayanaha, such a one who is surrendered, for them Krishna becomes the wish fulfilling tree. And Krishna is really none other than the pure mind. Our own minds, when it is pure, then it can easily fulfill all the sankalpas. Sankalpa Shakti will be there. And for that, we have to remove all the raga dveshas. Oh, we'll conclude now with the Swasti mantras. ॐ स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्ताम् न्यायेन मार्गेण महीमहीषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यम् लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथिवी सस्यशालिनी देशोऽयं शोभरहितः ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ